Hey guys, SkinKia87 here, and this is a video of me discussing a few things for 2018. Now, before I get into the topic at hand, gameplay in the background is Battlefield 4. I grabbed it on sale, on a Christmas sale, for $8. I actually owned the game 3 times. This is the 3rd time owning it, but I have a digital copy of it on PlayStation 3. Yeah, I got it around the time when I still had last gen. And then I got a physical version of it for PlayStation 4, and then I sold it alongside Hardline, which I might grab Hardline again because I'm really enjoying this game again. And then I bought it digitally for $8 on sale, and I gotta say, man, it takes me back because I used to play Battlefield 3 a lot, and even though in my opinion, I prefer Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4 is pretty close to it, and you know, I don't think I appreciated this game as much as I would have wanted to around the time it came out due to its shitty server issues. And you know, even though I didn't like Hardline all that much, I think I might appreciate that game a bit more too, since you know I'm getting back into shooters. But you know, that's not the topic here. I'm gonna talk about my YouTube. So 2017 was a really surprising year for me because even though I've been doing YouTube seriously since around 2013, which is about the time I was doing Soul Calibur 5 gameplays on the PlayStation 3, around the time, or at the very end of 2014, which was Christmas, I got my PlayStation 4, and since the share button is a very handy tool, that's when I started doing, you know, other games other than Soul Calibur 5, and my YouTube's been slowly but surely growing from that point. It wasn't too big, but it was, you know, big enough, I guess. It was enough attention to where I was happy with what was going on. And then suddenly, after my 200 subscribers video, which was back in 2015, I know that's a large gap, something happened, in which case I had to be offline for about 8 months, no access to internet or anything due to an event that happened that I'd rather not get into. And you guys probably heard this story before, I've mentioned it in another video, but the reason why I mentioned this is because it was a pretty big hit for me because I wasn't really gaining subs for about a hot year, and you know, I pretty much thought that that would any long gap between a YouTube without much activity or any reason as to why you're not having that much activity is guaranteed to kill your channel, and I came back from that. I was honestly surprised, and I know exactly why I'm gaining so much fame at the moment. All Points Bulletin blew up on my channel. I don't know why. Maybe it's the low player count on that game, but for some reason me doing APB gameplays has directed traffic towards my channel, and I went from around 200 from this year, because you know I didn't get much subs from my absence, to going up to 330 or 20. No, it was 325. Yeah, 325. And I gotta say, guys, I greatly appreciate the support that you've been showing me. I honestly, I'm just shocked that I've been doing so well since I came back from my absence, and you know, it's all thanks to you guys, of course. But now we're coming on to a new year, and now it's time to discuss my ambitions regarding the new year. Well, you might have noticed, and as I've established in previous videos, that my uploads have been decreased. I'm not uploading as often as I would be, and that's due to the fact that I was preparing for 2018. And what would that be, you ask? Well, it's the simple fact that, in case you're new to the channel, I'll tell you now, and if you've been watching my videos consistently, you probably already know because I've been beating this horse with a fucking stick for Lord knows how many months now. But I basically I've started productions on a comic in about October, I believe, and you know, yeah, it was October, and I haven't necessarily been working on it as much as I would like to due to the fact that Metabang Pro, even though, you know, I was getting the hang of it already, there was still a lot about that app that I didn't know about. As a matter of fact, if I'm being honest, even though I'm proud with the pages that I have done, I layered shit wrong, and Yeah, something I'm not gonna worry about them now, but I imagine that once I'm nearly done with the comic, I'm gonna have to go back and fix the first couple pages. But nonetheless, I spent a lot of the past few months doing speed arts, as you guys have seen. And these speed art videos have actually been teaching me the ways of the app just a little bit. Like, I've learned how to properly actually, no, I learned how to properly layer shit because of my friend Proximander13. I talk about him a lot. That's the homie. Again, I'll probably link him to my description. It's probably like the third fucking time I've linked him to my description. But yeah, I've learned how to properly layer art. I've learned how to copy one piece and then put it onto another canvas. I've learned about resizing. I've learned gradients. I've learned all sorts of stuff just from doing these speed arts on YouTube. And even though it's taken time away from my actual comic making process, it's taught me a lot about the software itself, and it's actually going to make doing the comic itself a lot easier. And in the end, it was time well spent, and it was preparing me for the larger project at hand. Now granted, I'm not sure how long it's really going to take me, to be honest. I know that I want to do 5 volumes of this comic, and to save time, I'm doing it in a black and white manga style, so that alone would have been okay, I guess. Like okay, that's probably gonna take a little bit of time, but at the very least, since I know a lot of techniques that can help me out, I'm thinking in the long run that I'm gonna be able to do the comic a lot faster, and that I believe that I'll be able to make the comic a lot greater in quality than I initially thought I would. And it's interesting because I'm doing this comic with a mouse. A lot of artists believe that if you're using a mouse, you are cursed to make terrible art, but you'd be surprised that you don't necessarily need a drawing tablet to do good art. And who knows, maybe I'll actually do a video on that and help a few people out who aren't particularly, rich or anything. But yeah, 2018 for me is gonna be a pretty big year because not many people know too much about what I'm talking about right now, because all I've pretty much been saying is, hey, I got a comic and I've shown concepts for this comic and speed arts and all that. But to my friends and the people who've known me for the past like 7 years, they've been hearing about this idea for, well, exactly that. They've been hearing about it for 7 years, though. I've been working on this project since 2008, and it's gone through so many revisions, changes, styles, you name it. It went from being something along the lines of a simple Saturday morning cartoon to something that's serious, and it's a story that I've been meaning to tell for a very long time. And even though I'm not going to be able to animate it, because honestly I wanted to do it as an animation first, I feel like, I've been doing comics since the very beginning, because when I was in elementary school, starting with 5th grade exactly, like at the very end of elementary, I would always I would get white paper, like I would try to get white copy paper, as quote-unquote scrap paper, and instead of, using it as scrap paper, I would draw comics. And this is the origin of all my story ideas, or this story idea in particular, because I think it was like an art class where they wanted us to do comics, and I just kept making comics after that. And it's something that I've always wanted to do when I was a kid. And even though for about a good 7 years I was not interested in doing stuff as a comic anymore, for some reason I feel like it was kind of fate that I've finally come back into the position to where I'm actually able to do a comic. Because even though I was thinking that's not my interest anymore, I think in the long run it was something that I've always wanted to do without even realizing it. It's weird. Maybe I explained it in a weird way, but it's like I was doing comics as a kid, like, really bad ones, I guess. Other people probably would tell me otherwise, because I'm not too fond of my older work just because I wasn't as experienced, and I'm sure anyone will feel that. But it went from drawing silly comics on paper and stapling them together in a shitty manner to now me getting ready to professionally release a comic with the best of my current abilities as of this moment. I imagine I'll get even better in time, and it blows my fucking mind. I can't fathom it, but suffice to say, I have a long road ahead of me this year. I'm gonna be working my absolute hardest to get Volume 1 out, and hey, maybe if things go accordingly, and if I'm working the best I can, maybe I can get 2 volumes out this year, and maybe even 3, although that's probably stretching it. But yeah, if my uploads slow down even more, it's due to that, and I appreciate the people who stick around despite the slower uploads and, you know, support me and everything. So yeah, that was this video, and yeah, Genkia 87 is out. I'm sorry if I'm rushing it, but yeah, it's kind of the end of the video. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys.